Our next conversation on this Labor Day is going to be about a bill that's before Parliament, the Labor Relations Amendment Bill by Senator Eddy Oketch of Migori County. And the Senator is here in the studio. Good morning, Senator.
Morning.
Mambo namna gani?
Tuko sawa.
Yeah.
Ingawa we are not as happy with what is going on in the country.
Yes.
And I think that is in order to just, say sorry to a number of people who have lost their lives, families that are mourning, and also families that are in hardship during these times of disaster that we are seeing with these raging floods.
Yeah.
Yes.
Indeed. Siti, welcome the Senator with the day's proverb. Yes. This week the proverbs are from Algeria.
Yes, that Republic of Algeria.
And you told us it's a semi-autonomous, semi-continuous,
unitary, semi-presidential.
It is a unitary, semi-presidential republic.
Okay.
See? Okay? Unitary who?
Semi-presidential.
Yes. Whenever he has a presidential, you mean...
The president is half.
Yes, Eco president is very true, and then Eco prime minister.
Okay. Eco half president.
Half president, half prime minister.
Half prime minister.
Then they
close to one.
And then they're unitary.
Then they're unitary, but there's a council president. Upper president wengi.
Yeah, council president,
assembly president.
Right.
Yes. Then there's republic president.
Bas.
Right. The proverb. The crow wanted to mimic the pigeon's walk. And forgot his own.
The crow wanted to mimic the pigeon's walk and forgot his own.
Yes. Yes.
Senator, what do you call a crow in Luo?
The crow.
Agak.
Agak Rembekech.
The full thing. Agak Rembekech. What does that mean?
Damukali.
And what's a pigeon?
A pigeon.
Oh, yeah.
In Luo.
No, let him think. That I'm not telling him.
A pigeon in Luo would be what?
Give him time. He'll get there.
It'll come.
Yeah, let him.
Give him a hint.
Nah, itakuja. I'm not giving him a hint. I already gave him one.
Oh.
A pigeon in Luo.
A pigeon in Luo.
Hey,
we're still there.
That are the experts of the birds coming.
22 atajua.
Itakuja.
Atakuja. Yeye ataipata tu because he knows what a pigeon is in Luo.
Yeah. Yes, it is a common one.
It's just early morning, it's a bit too cold. Itakuja tu.
Okay.
Then he says, ndio hii.
But the way
yes.
He'll be in the middle of a sentence.
Before the hour is over, he will know.
Let me ask you then, how do you interpret that proverb?
Keep your lane.
Stick to your lane.
Stick to your lane. Sometimes. Sometimes you want to forget that even what you're doing is important. And you want to forget that your contribution also matters. And therefore you want to do what other people are supposed to do. So sometimes just stick your lane.
Stick to your lane.
Yes.
Okay, maybe you're not doing that you now.
Wow.
Because you've come with a bill. And the Labor Relations Amendment Bill,
yes,
among the other things that we've seen in the media, is it seeking to introduce term limits to union leadership. Let's just go back. What is this bill about?
The bill is exactly about that. There has been a feeling and an observation among most Kenyans that I talk to, and especially workers, that labor organizations don't have what I would call democratic ideals that underpins, their establishment in the Constitution. The Constitution of Kenya establishes labor and trade organizations under Article 47 of the Constitution. But in that article, the article itself espouses that these organizations will be able to actually have fair democratic processes that allows their own members to be able to participate in these organizations fully. Now, what we keep on observing is a connivance emerging, both internally and externally. And I'll explain as we go through this conversation. And therefore, it is important to democratize that space, to allow for members to be able to engage in democratic processes, not pseudo-democratic processes, but real democratic processes that can be able to ensure that there is proper governance that is based on democratic ideals for those organizations. And this is to all workers and all members of these organizations, because without that, then you lose the meaning of labor organizations.
Okay.
Yes.
Basically, from what I hear, is that you'd like the labor organization to have a clear structure.
Yes.
A leadership structure.
Yes.
And then that leadership structure involves the members.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Where ideally the supreme organ of this union,
yes,
it's like a political party, should be the members.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then the members will have the periodic way of electing new leaders.
Yes.
And even looking at their own processes.
Yes.
And when need be, they amend them.
Absolutely.
I see that all the time. Kenya National Union of Teachers, I can look at the very many chairmen and secretaries general that we've seen. The Union of Nurses, the doctors, the Flower Union, the Kudeha.
Yeah.
This
it's a very simple
bill. It happens.
It's a simple bill.
What are you trying to cure, boss? It's already happening.
No, actually, what happens is that some happens by serendipity.
Okay.
It's serendipitous organization. Actually, most of them, there isn't articulated framework that do actually require and establish labor organizations to actually have that kind of term limit. It is implied, but it's not in place. So, in the event that you don't, prescribe that requirement, then you leave some labor organizations to what we call capture. Just like you see in countries where you've got state captures where people don't have change of leadership, because Eric, labor organizations are organizations that have got members, whether within industry or within which companies, that then allows those members to actually be able to contribute in the running of those organizations. And when you contribute your money as a worker into these organizations, what then you give as power to people who are leading these organizations is the power to actually negotiate on your behalf. In some cases, what we call collective bargains, whereby we have got even umbrella bodies. Like in Kenya, COTU is more a more umbrella body to these organizations. Now, the management of that money makes labor organizations slightly different from what you would call professional organizations. For instance, the Law Society of Kenya does have, the mandate to actually regulate the behavior of members, the conduct of members, and all this. But unlike labor organizations, where the money collected by members is actually put in the hands of individuals who then also lead them.
Yeah.
Well, that means that they've got an expressed executive power over these resources.
Yes, just pause for a second.
Yes.
When you say the money that is collected from the members of the union is put in the hands of individuals, what do you mean?
It is put in the hand of the unions, individuals, in terms of leadership, in the sense that if you are a leader of the union, then the running of that union, you are running it based on the resources that members have contributed.
Yes.
Yes.
But not you as a person.
It's not yours as a person.
It is, no. The money is put into the structures and institutions of the union.
Yes.
And now, thank you for saying that. Where there is no democratic organization, then that money is put in the hand of those individuals. And I can give you an express example of how this manifests. If today a young person who is a member of a labor organization wants to vie for that particular office, let's say for Secretary General of COTU, for instance, it will be extremely hard for that young person to be able to marshal even to campaign, because the lack of the democratic institutions that can be able to oversight and ensure proper governance of those resources in that organization tend to be solidly and squarely in the hands of these leaders.
You're saying two separate things here.
Yes.
wanting to vie and resources that the union already has. You see, if the union had one person, then what you're saying would make a lot of sense.
Yes.
The union has officials. The union, as Eric was saying, has structures.
Yes.
They have offices. They have a secretariat. It is run. Okay? Now, what you seem to be saying is that there are unions where the office holders have a lot of power. But it doesn't therefore mean that just because they have the power, that the money is actually put in their hands. It's just that they have wielded power to the point where they are able to do what they like.
But we are saying the same things.
No, we are not.
We are saying the same things, City. Because why do they have that much power that then makes them have control over the resources of the union as if it was personal?
Okay,
All right.
can we explain it from a present state?
Yes.
So let's say now we're looking at Union X in Kenya, whatever it is that you want it to be. You want it to be KOTU? Okay, let's go with KOTU.
KOTU is not a union, it's a federation of unions.
Okay.
Yes. Pick a union.
Umbrella body.
It's an umbrella body.
Okay, let's take a union.
Teachers, doctors
KMPDU.
union. Yes.
All right. You have a chairman. You have a secretary general, so it's structured, right? You have vice, you have deputies, etc. They go all the way down. So essentially what we're saying now, I'm using this as an example. I'm not saying that KMPDU is
And by the way, KOTU can also be an example because actually it's an umbrella body of trade organizations. Yes.
Okay, so this is the example that we're saying. That we're saying the reason why you're bringing this bill into place is that there should be democratic selection
Of leaders.
Yes. And that one problem is that the leaders right now essentially control the purse.
Yes.
Now, members of this union, if we're using KMPDU as an example, members who join the union for their future protection when it comes to dealing with employers, when it comes to dealing with issues of human resource, etc., they pay a certain amount per whatever, month, year, whatever. What you're saying is that the people who sit at the helm of this institution are essentially the ones who control the money, and that it is not controlled in a democratic way for payment of things here and there.
Yes.
How?
And what I'm ascribing that problem to is the fact that there isn't required democratic process of change of that leadership.
Okay.
So then, if you have got control of those resources, okay,
Yes.
then and you can be able to manipulate the processes.
Yes.
You can easily stay in power as much as you want
So Ndu is the secretary.
because you can leverage on that.
Okay.
Yes.
So Ndu is the secretary general
Of KOTU.
KOTU.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
As a union.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
Yes.
for the purposes of this conversation, KOTU is a union.
Yes.
Okay.
And I am the secretary general.
Yes.
Okay.
I control the purse.
Yes.
You pay your dues as unions under me, as individuals under me, whatever.
Yes.
I control it.
Yes.
So by virtue of the fact that I control the purse,
Yes.
when it's time for an election, I can easily say, well, you guys who now do my bidding, Eddie over here, CT here, Eric here,
Yes.
what we're going to do is make sure that I retain
come
this
back.
position.
Yes.
Or that when the elections go forth, somebody else sitting out there, Omwami, can also run for SG. But because you are beholden to me because of whatever I may do here and there, I'm guaranteed that in 2025 I shall come back.
Exactly.
Is this what we're saying is the current situation?
And that is the
in Kenya?
current situation of most labor organizations.
Why are you?
And this is-
why are you limiting it to labor organizations?
No, actually, it's also all the employer associations actually making sure that space is entirely democratic for all of them.
Is this for a lack of a law? What's the current law that governs labor unions? The Labor Relations Act
Yes.
of 2020?
The Labor Relations Act has been amended a number of times.
Yeah.
But this particular aspect of it,
Which is the latest one that we are dealing with?
the latest one would be, let me just,
2012?
2012. Just a moment.
Right. So there's a law, and this law has been amended over time. Even before the Constitution, there was a Labor Relations Act. Even after the promulgation of the Constitution, then we had to look at this law so that it conforms with the Constitution. It was amended, right? Thereafter. Even after the Constitution 2012 and thereafter. Are we saying that this piece of legislation does not talk about union officials and how they get into office.
The one that actually establishes most of these organizations is the one that was established in 2007.
Okay.
That's
so you have an amendment of 2014. Actually.
Yes,
the 2014 amendment.
Yes, but what we had in 2007 was mostly focused on things like registration, regulations in general in terms of joining these organizations.
Right.
We had what City was talking about in terms of just management, but did not solve the democratization of those trade organizations. You see, and then
it talks about leaders, right?
Yes.
How you should but union leaders. That a person cannot be a leader of more than one union.
Yes. Yes.
So already it identifies that you can be a leader of a union.
Yes.
So how do you become a leader of the union? It does not say that.
It doesn't prescribe that. It leaves it to the unions to organize themselves.
To determine whether they want to do it once, every 2 years, or 5 years, or 17 years, however they choose.
Yes.
But that there shall be registered officials of this. If this union is registered, it shall also file returns to show who are the elected officials of this union.
Yes.
True?
Yes.
And we expect that by the time you're coming to seek for registration, you shall come with your articles that show us how you have the structures of this union, and the leadership of the union, and how you determine the leadership of the union.
Yes.
Then that already says that there's already democratization that has already been embedded in this.
There is the democratization.
Because at the point of registration, one of your requirements will be to tell us, what is this union about? Who are you representing? Where are your members going to come from? How are they going to choose their leaders? And who are the leaders? And how will you be coming to update the records for purposes of record to tell us who the leaders are? That means that you're expected, therefore, to tell us how you will elect the leaders. Am I right?
You are right. You are right on that, right? But there's one aspect that the law doesn't prescribe. Okay? Which is the aspect of how long can those leaders lead the organizations?
Stay in office.
Yes. That's the simplest thing we're trying to solve here.
The term limits of the office bearer.
Exactly.
Should the law prescribe that?
I think it should.
You belong to which political party?
I belong to ODM.
Okay.
Yes.
Does the Political Parties Act say how long a person can stay as a party leader of ODM?
No, or even as a member of parliament.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. And
but when you're going to register with the Register of Political Parties, you will say the structures of your party, right? And you will say how the leaders shall occupy those offices and how regularly you'll be holding elections as a party. Right?
So
it's the same thing with
the way
unions.
they are functioning not the same thing. Political parties are organizations that are set to go and form power in government. So then when they form power in government, if they eventually form power in government, that is when they start assuming an executive responsibility by running a national government. Okay? So when they are subjected to now the laws of the country, now that UDA is running the government, okay, then the people who have benefited from that particular political organizations now have got responsibility over our money and have got responsibility over our resources to the extent that now we start seeing term limits for those especially who have got executive power on the resources that we as a country are giving into their hands. An example of that is the Constitution itself gave that power of term limits to the president and to the governors. Reason being, they have an executive power over our resources. Now, the functional element of trade unions and trade organizations is exactly that executive element.
No, it's not. It's like a political party.
It is not.
It's membership. You choose to join a union. You choose to join a political party. Right? This political party is registered by an authority. This union is registered by an authority. As you're registering, you shall say, where are your members? How regularly are you holding elections? Who are the officials of this? It's the same thing, Senator.
What is the end goal of political parties?
The end goal of political parties?
What is the stated or what is the aspirational purpose?
No, what is stated even constitutionally?
Well, it's a vehicle towards,
Towards capture power. Towards capturing power.
And what is power?
No.
What is power? Executive power?
No, actually,
no, not necessarily.
Actually, no.
Not necessarily.
The intent of the individuals is to capture power, as you say, but the purpose is for them, in whatever way they choose or whatever the inclination is to actually ensure that the benefits of the citizens of that country are what? Are adhered to.
And they have a vehicle to express their political will.
Yes. That's it.
This is it, boy.
You see, the power element is what people want, but it's the power so that they can, the end goal is that the Wananchi should benefit. That's really it. And that's why the Constitution talks about all these things. You know.
There's nothing like a party takes power.
I think you're not getting it correctly.
Okay.
You go and read the Article 1 of the Constitution and Article 2 of the Constitution. Okay?
Will I find something that is different?
Kenya shall be a multi-party democracy.
Yes.
Meaning that the organization for which you establish governance in Kenya must follow a multi-party
very good
democratic path.
Very good. Which means,
are you getting it? Which means that the way that we as a country have chosen in the Constitution to be able to organize ourselves and be able to create a government that will govern the people is that of a multi-party ideals.
Very good.
Political organization. So there is a major difference between that and labor organizations that are organizations that members choose to join for the purposes of advocating
for their
welfare and rights across industries. Let me just finish this.
Same thing.
That is not the same thing. Let me give you an example. Does a political party employ people?
Yes.
When a political party employs people, and in that political party, as a company or an organization, is committing some crime according to labor organizations, against its own workers, and most of these workers tend to be very ordinary workers. What happens in this case? The labor organizations will fight for them in all those spaces.
Yes.
So the labor organizations have got a different functional element in our society that is way above political parties.
Actually, I would say specific, not really different, because labor unions exist to champion the desires of certain disciplines.
Yes.
Okay? If I'm a stonemason, then I look for a union that represents stonemasons.
Exactly.
I don't go and join KMPDU.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
If I am somebody who picks garbage, and that is my trade, then I look for a union. Now, you see, the principle is what Eric was saying.
Yes.
If you look at political parties,
Yes.
in theory, political parties are supposed to represent, should you say, an ideological way in which they feel that if they get the power that they all aspire to get, they'll be able to manage the people's lives.
Exactly.
If you are a socialistic leaning party, you are going to focus on welfare things, Navitu kama hizo.
Yes.
Yeah, but in this country, political parties and their ideologies are purely theoretical, and and they remain so. They remain so. The aspiration is for people to get power and to try and amass as much money as you possibly can in the shortest time possible.
Yes.
While ensuring that you keep promising the public as much as you'd like to, so that they keep you in power. But what makes political parties work is because our political parties tend to have a strong leaning towards communities and ethnic groups. Remember, I've avoided the word tribe here. I've steered clear.
Yes.
Others join in over time because they feel what you represent is useful. But essentially, if you look at, say, Kenya, what we have is those who are in power and those who are not in power. Okay? That's it. Ideological differences, there are hardly any.
City, let me ask you something. The Labor Act 2207, prescribes that if you're a member of one labor organization, you cannot be a member of another labor organization.
Yes, it's clear.
So let's say you're a member of KPMDU as a labor organization. In your view, if a member of KPMDU joins ODM, or a member of KPMDU joins UDA, would you have said they've joined another organization that is similar to them?
No.
But
functionally, these things are not the same. That's what I'm telling you. Functionally, they are not the same. Functionally,
the argument here is not that they are the same.
yes.
No.
It is what is the principle
Yes.
of a union?
Yes.
What's the principle of a political party?
Yeah.
So
The principle here and the idea is the same. That you are joining this one group that helps you advocate and push a certain agenda.
A specific agenda.
Yes, if you join ODM, it's because you believe in what ODM espouses, the ideologies of ODM, okay? And that you will support then electing leaders who are in ODM,
Yes.
who will then go ahead and champion the ideologies of ODM, okay?
Yes.
And in a multi-party democracy, you may form the executive, or you may form a minority in the National Assembly and the Senate and elsewhere, or you may form a majority in any of those assemblies. But whoever gets there will be advocating and pushing for the betterment of the country through the ideology of that party. Then the other guys will be doing the same. That's why it acknowledges that you will be in parliament and you will belong to various political parties. Some will be independent, others will be in ODM, others will be in, and you can even come together as a party and form a coalition. We understand all that, right?
Yes.
But when you are registered, there's what you satisfied the registrar with, that this is a democratic political party. Therefore, it shall go with the ideals of democracy. It shall have members who are registered, and those members will be whatever they'll be doing, whether they are paying members, however they are contributing to the party. Then you'll have party elections from grassroots all the way to the top levels and the topmost organs of the party. And this is how you shall govern yourselves as a party. Same thing with the trade unions. As you are going to register, you shall meet these conditions. And those conditions include that you will have registered members of your union, right? Not just saying that all flower workers in Kenya belong to, no. They must individually register to join the union. And then you'll follow the others. You'll have elections, you'll have structures, you'll have all those things. I'm wondering, what are you curing? Where is the disease, boss? But can we take a break?
Sure.
Okay. Let's take a break and come back. 25 minutes to 9. Senator Eddy Oketch is our guest this morning. He is the senator for the great people of Migori. And he has proposed a bill in the Senate, the Labor Relations Amendment Bill 2024, right?
Yes.
Which is before the Senate. And he is seeking to introduce that the law stipulates how long one person can serve as a leader of a trade union in this Republic of Kenya. Currently, it's not in this act, but maybe it's in some individual unions. We don't know. We'll find out from him shortly. Senator, I'd like to draw your attention to the Labor Relations Act of 2014, which says for
Amendment. That was an amendment.
Amendment Act of 2014.
The Labor Relations Act of 2007.
Yep.
Yes.
The law currently in place on labor relations says for you to be registered as a union, you must meet certain criteria that is contained in the first schedule.
Yes.
I'll read for you the first schedule. Matters for which provision must be made in the constitution of trade union or employer organizations. Number 1, name of the trade union or employer organization and the place of meeting for the business of the trade union. Number 2, the whole of the objects for which the trade union is to be established, the purpose for which the funds thereof shall be applicable, the conditions under which any member may become entitled to any benefit, and the fines and forfeitures to be imposed on any member. Number 3, the manner of making, altering, or amending and rescinding their constitution of that union. Number 4, the appointment or election and removal of an executive and of trustees, secretaries, treasurers, and other officers of the trade union or employers organization.
That's
I
where
will not continue with the others.
That's actually where the amendment is.
Okay.
Yes.
What does the amendment now say?
The amendment prescribes.
Here now.
Yes.
Now here is where you're putting your amendment to say?
Yes.
That
the leadership of those unions must be able to put time limits
okay. But
in the election of its officials. Because the way the Labor Act is at the moment,
yes.
it has left it open
Okay.
that any organization, today, organization of Kitungu Sellers
Association.
Association
Yes.
can choose to say that us,
That is
we
not a
will
union.
not. I'm just giving you an
Call it Kitungu
Workers Association.
Workers Association
Yes.
of Kenya.
We will not elect our leaders, right? We will have one leader until they die. That will be our process. Another one will say, us, we will be able to elect our leaders every 2 years. Another one will say, us, we'll be able to elect our leaders every X years, right?
Yes.
So the moment you've left that particular clause without prescription, just like in the Constitution, right? In the Constitution, we tell ourselves that when we are going to elect an MCA, yeah, we leave it open. But when we're going to elect a governor, yeah, we give a governor a particular time limit. Why do we choose that an MCA, an MP, or a legislature, we are going to be silent about their time limit?
Or a senator, yes.
Or a senator,
yes.
a member of parliament is a senator. A senator is a member of parliament, and then we were a member of National Assembly. We leave it open, but then on the president one, we are very particular that we will have a term limit. I want you to understand that conversation. It is exactly because the president and the governor have got an executive power. In fact, if you read the Constitution under Article 179, the governor is even expressly talked about as an executive. They have got an express power on the domesticated resources that we as a country are putting in their hands.
Okay.
Unlike a member of parliament or an MCA, who does not have actually an executive power. That's why the frameworks of the Constitution were very upfront in terms of prescribing that position. The union organizations in this country have equally the executive power over members' contributions. That's the conversation.
How so?
Okay.
That then they can use to have any kind of connivance internally and externally.
All right. Can I just take a step
Yeah,
back?
but
So what we're saying now
Yes.
is that union executives
Yes.
have power over funds
Yes.
that have been contributed by members.
Yes.
And is this where, because the reason why amendments are made, I would assume, I
Yes.
mean, you're the expert here,
Yes.
but the reason why amendments are made is because there is a danger
Yes.
that has been posed by the present situation.
Yes.
So that there's something that has gone askew in the way things are currently
let's delve into
operationalized.
that. Let's delve into that and like what then has become the danger of these leaders being able to have so much power over resources of these organizations, and ours that either advanced or made it impossible for this organization to advance. Like just yesterday, you saw the organization of nurses desperately, right, demonstrating against their leader Panyako, right, who cannot be able to talk about their problems, but also because of the way they are currently constituted, it is almost impossible to deal with that leadership. You saw the junior secondary school, I think it's the junior secondary school teachers being able to, there have been a pockets of different of them rioting
Want to go
here
on
and
strike,
there.
essentially. Yeah.
But then you see the leadership of Kupet being able to choose when they can be able to line with them and when they cannot be able to line with them. Why? Because number one, it is just very impossible to actually change this leadership in the time that they are in. But also number two, they can be that connivance with the system that they're trying to fight against, which is the government, right? During the time of their leadership, that then compromises this organization. The fundamental threat, which will be a positive threat to these leaders, executive leaders of these organizations, would be if you do not live to the ideals of these organizations, then you are sure that in 5 years or in 10 years, whatever the time leaders, you will be out.
But then I think, Senator,
that is the fundamental problem we're trying to cure there.
It is not. Senator, I think your diagnosis or prognosis or both are wrong on this one. The giant unions that we see in this country, for example, the Kenya National Union of Teachers,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Where you'd assume because of the sheer number of members that this union has, the person who sits at the helm of this party would then have a lot of financial muscle. But we have seen changes in these unions, in elections, even where we see, and usually secretaries generals of these unions have been powerful individuals. But we've seen them come, go. Elections
Same
happen,
with the chairman.
out, come in, somebody else comes in.
Out how long?
Regularly. Sosion came, left. Before him was, they had interchanged with Nzili,
There was
right?
Zili, and then before that there was Ambrosa.
There was Mbogua. There was
Mbugua.
they change. It is not because of the money that they have. If members feel that this thing is not working because this guy has taken over, a member can choose to get out of that union. And they can form another union. This law does not say that you can only have one flour farmers union in the country, does it?
No.
That's why we saw a split in the teachers' unions. It doesn't say that. So this is not a problem. If we were to take that to its logical conclusion, then we would say that let's also look at political parties. A political party as giant as ODM, for example, and I'm just using ODM as here for example, and you're a member of it, so you even have insider information. As a member of ODM, you contribute to money to the ODM. ODM also receives taxpayers' money as a political party's fund. Can we say that the chairman, the party leader, and the secretary general of ODM are so powerful that that's why ODM has not had elections, that's why they have not left office, that's why all these things are happening? No, we cannot say that. We cannot say that the leadership of ODM, of Jubilee, of UDA, of NAC Kenya are so powerful because of their misusing people's money. We cannot say that. And that's where the law comes in and says there will be a constitution. This constitution shall say who are your members, who are your officials. You can say how often you change your officials of the union. The constitution also says that you shall tell us who is contributing, how they are contributing, and there will be an audit of the contributions and the usage of the members' monies. It is in the law. If you are curing that, then you should be going to tinker with that and say this audit shall be held every 3 months. Or you shall make sure that this person does not have all power in determining what happens to the party. I mean, to the money that comes into the union. Introducing a term limit, I don't see how this brings a solution.
You see, this is the problem with our country.
Yes.
This is exactly the problem with our country.
This one now.
What Eric has just talked about.
What you're looking at me now.
Yes.
I'm an embodiment of the problem.
Yeah, and I'm now personifying on you because the problem bedeviling our countries in terms of some of the organizations that we have in our country, when I started my conversation, I started using the word connivance. Yeah. Very, very powerfully so. The idea that there are some organizations that are so well organized that the more you put powers of those individuals, the more it becomes even difficult for you to depict the problem in those in that organization because of those lacunas that we're talking about, like this lack of term limits. Okay, and I'll put the political parties convention aside because in my mind, functionally, not functionally. First of all, functionally they're very different in my understanding, and then the second thing is that the functional.
Let me tell you why I'm bringing the political party.
My thought process
is because you're bringing the executive.
Yes. So my thought process
here is leadership and governance.
The functional existence of labor organizations in our country is such an important aspect of us, in my personal view, that I think that it can even go above political parties in some ways.
Yes.
Because a political party would, at some point, become an opponent, naturally, of a labor organization.
Yeah.
Because if a political party forms office like now UDA, if you're a member of UDA, then now you're formed office, and for instance, a minister in UDA makes a pronouncement that all workers in this country, those who are working in government, who are on permanent and pensionable basis, their contract should be changed to a mere contract that is not permanent and pensionable. That's a big, big statement. That, for instance, the leader of KOTU, okay, if there is no connivance, should take a natural position on it.
Okay.
You see, but if there's connivance, both internal and outside the organization, and when I mean outside, is basically I mean that connivance can happen between the leader of that organization
And the registrar.
No, the leader of that organization and the organization that is affecting the benefit of those workers.
Yeah.
So connivance can happen, for instance, if government is coming with a bad law and the leader of that organization chooses to go in bed with that organization, or if the organization is in connivance with a particular company that's affecting its workers,
Yeah.
then it's a problem.
Yeah.
But what is the opportunity for that connivance to happen? It is
Money.
exactly the fact that there isn't a prescribed way of ensuring that there's an absolute change of power.
But there is a prescribed way.
No, there is.
There are elections.
There is those elections within the union,
Yes.
but those elections are not subjected to laws of the land to ensure that they are subject to the
Senator,
principles of term
Senator,
limit.
allow me to phrase this differently.
Yes.
You are saying elections, yes, are indicative of a process where change can come about.
Yes.
But you are saying there must be something prescribed specifically
Yes.
to state
Yes.
that yes, you have elections, but there must be term limits for every position. 4 years, 2 years, 3 years.
Exactly.
That's what, and you want it written down.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So
And the reason I'm telling you this is this Eric, and you have to understand it. The issue of connivance in these organizations makes it totally impossible to actually have what we call real elections. People tend up to have pseudo elections
Give us examples.
Lakini bro.
You're bringing a bill to cure specific
Yes.
malaise.
Yes.
So tell us. Shida iko wapi?
Let's take our umbrella body,
KOTU.
KOTU.
Okay.
How long has Atwoli been in office?
How long has he
sure.
been re-elected to
Tell
office?
me, how long has he been in office?
He has been in office since 2001.
Okay, that's 23 years.
Yes.
Okay, has he been re-elected every time?
No.
There has been no
In my
election.
view.
No.
not
In my view.
Not in your
This
view.
is the elections have
has
nothing
an
to do with your
election
view.
taken place and he has been announced the winner of
Yes.
said election and has come back as Secretary
Yes.
General of
But
KOTU.
then-
All
Yes.
right. Game
So
shot. I used to be Malaysia.
Skia City. So are you saying that it's okay if Atwoli gets elected even for another term,
Yes.
Yeah.
and he can do this work for the next 30 years?
Yes. I mean,
so you don't want to look
Mheshimiwa.
at the factors. Just wait. You don't want to look at the factors that ensures that he gets elected. You want to say that let's be silent about those factors
the
because
fac-
there's
no,
no
the
possibility.
factors
For me,
are
Senator, you
election.
know what I think what is here, and that's why I asked the question: what has gone askew, or what dangers are folks who are under that umbrella body complaining about that would lead directly to us saying that the introduction of term limits is going to cure that problem?
And that is what I'm telling you in very simple term: the connivance in these organizations.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you saying?
And actually, the connivance actually even goes further CT to affect even other opportunities,
Let
which
me
actually the bill also tried to solve. Yeah. So, for instance, you will find that, like for instance, the Secretary General of KOTU.
Yeah.
You will find that when KOTU needs to bring one of the officials to be a member of a serious board, and I don't want to personalize this thing to
They're usually boards, NHIF,
to just
it sits there,
but you know them,
NSSF, it
right?
sits
But
there,
you know
yeah.
them, right? The connivance makes it impossible for other members to actually get those opportunities.
Okay.
We have even seen, even in Parliament, even when Sosion, we talked about Sosion when Sosion was a leader, when he was in Parliament, and he was still getting the benefits, which are actually remunerative benefits from the union.
Yes.
And he's in Parliament. Even now, we see it with Mboko Milemba.
Yes.
Right? Getting the same benefits that in the Constitution would defy the issue of one man, one job principles. These are issues of connivance.
And what
You see what I mean?
What's
Senator.
wrong with having more than one job?
Senator, have you received a petition from trade unions?
Yes.
And leaderships of trade unions,
Yes.
saying that we participate in elections of KOTU,
Yes.
but we are unable to change the leadership of KOTU because connivance.
I have received those complaints, and the good thing about this bill, is that it's going to be subjected to the entire bill making process, which includes public participation, where these leaders of all these unions that have also been approaching me about this problem that is endemic, that is not visible to people like you, Eric.
Let me
Right?
ask you no, Senator,
Yeah.
do these people want to take over Twoli's job?
No, it's not about-
and the fact they can't remove him. I mean, what is the problem here?
It's not about taking Atwoli's job. It's about bringing sanity. And by the way, City, if you visit to Atwoli, then you simplify.
No, it is Atwoli.
Wait,
Because
you
Atwoli has
simplify
been
it.
there for 23 years. It is about him.
Let me tell you.
It's not
Let me tell
about
you. Let me tell
anything
you.
else.
And
Yes.
other leaders as well.
Like which one?
Who
Like
have
which
got,
one?
I've given you an example of leaders who even have got two jobs. And I don't want to personalize them.
You know me, I don't even see a problem with 2 jobs. Even 3. Honestly.
Look.
I honestly don't see the problem.
Are you a member of any labor organizations?
No?
That's why you can't see the problem.
No, but I'm exercising my right.
Because there are members of those organizations who cannot be able to get those opportunities, right? Because of this connivance that I'm talking
You
about.
see, I am a member of the Situation Room.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That for me is good enough.
Yes.
This thing about democracy, people understand. You belong to that group of people who want guided democracy, where you're telling me where I should be democratic and not. Democracy is precisely what you are arguing against. Believe me, you allow people to vote. They are voting. We have elections in this country and people dispute them.
Migori people can have you as senator for 40 years.
Yes, and and as far as I'm concerned, it is fine.
Can we have a president for 40 years?
You can be.
Give me rationale.
You can be the chairman of Migori, your ODM, for 40 years.
Eric, I think that the Situation Room should tell me today. Why is it important for us to have term limits for president and the governor?
Because of the executive function.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. So you're arguing, you're telling me that it's okay if today, like what and you as a Kenyan, I want to hear you say, like the way Cherargei is coming up with a bill to extend term limit of the president, you're telling me that it's okay if you can have a president for life.
If you started this thing by saying that a chairman of a political party, because they are getting money from the public, shall not serve for more than 2 terms, I would be agreeing with you. But the rest of these are stories. Thank you, Senator, for joining us. This conversation shall continue.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.